So I've been watching this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, really tear it up on the internet. He's got this video show about wine tasting that's become incredibly popular. He's gotten on Conan because of it. He's gotten on CNBC. And more importantly, he's building a wine business that's growing as a result of the show that he's doing on the internet. I always wondered, will the techniques that he uses to grow his community, to grow his business, to grow his site and his brand, will they work for a startup that's starting from nothing? Well, I don't have to wonder anymore because Gary is joining up with his brother, AJ Vaynerchuk, to create a brand new startup called PleaseDressMe. It's a t-shirt website. And I called up AJ, did an interview with him to find out what techniques they're using to grow their new site. Download the full interview. You're going to hear directly from AJ what he's doing to grow his new business. I think it's very helpful if you're starting a new company. Here are some of my notes. Number one, community. That's their big focus right now. How do they get more people involved in their community? I actually asked AJ, I said, AJ, one entrepreneur to another. Do you ever walk down the street and dream about the jet plane that you'll once have, or the big house that you'll be able to afford as you build this company and as it gets bigger? And he said, no, that's not at all what he's thinking about now. What he's thinking about now is how does he add another person into the community? How does he get more people interested? By the way, I'm a child of the 80s. All we ever thought about back then, even back in high school, I always thought about how do I get my jet? How do I get this huge business? How do I make a killing? But maybe it's because he's Generation Y, or maybe this is because it's just the way that internet companies now are built, by focusing on community first and everything else comes afterwards. Here's one way, by the way, that he's growing his community. He's handing out, not bribes, gifts. I've seen this a lot now as I've done my interviews. I used to believe that communities just naturally grew. What I'm finding now is that communities grow sometimes by giving small bribes to encourage early participation. So AJ might give away t-shirts. I did another interview here on Mixergy, actually at the viral forum that we did. We talked about different kinds of rewards that you can give early members of your community. If you tie it to your brand, if you tie it to what you're doing, then you could get people to participate in your community, and then when they participate in return for gifts or in return for getting a shot at winning something, they bring in their friends, and their friends start joining the conversation. Eventually, you don't have to hand out any of these rewards. All right, another note, every site. Join every community that you can. That means the big sites like Facebook and Twitter, but for AJ, it also means experimenting with some of the smaller ones. He tried live video on Ustream, and just live video chatted with his customers. In fact, I can't even call them his customers because many of them didn't even buy a t-shirt, but just live streaming with anybody. And he got some great ideas from it, including one that allows people to see even more t-shirts on his site. His users wanted it, and that was the way they could communicate it to him. They happened to be on Ustream. Here's another thing that I noticed. Answer every email. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that all the time. AJ does. In fact, I've got a link to his email address. If you want to try it, you'll see he'll respond to your email quickly. Years ago, I emailed Seth Godin. This is after he became really big, after he had a huge following, and I just sent a note to Seth Godin, and within a few minutes I got a response. And I was always amazed. How could somebody who's running a business and has a huge following, how could he possibly respond to people? Well, I wasn't sure at the time how he did it, but I did know that it made me like him more, made me connect with him more. And a lot of the people who are building personal brands and even corporate brands are learning that the faster they respond to people, the more they answer their email, the tighter connection they have with their audience. And AJ does this. Gary has spoken out about this, how he sometimes gets hundreds of emails a day and he responds to every single one of them. It seems to be a big part of building a personal brand and growing a community online. All right, here's the last note that I took on the call. Shock customers. And for him, that means if you can't find a t-shirt on your website, he'll direct you to somebody else's website. It means that if you look on his website, you still can't find a t-shirt, maybe you're not even clear about what kind of t-shirt you want, and you send an email to AJ, he will shock you by Googling that t-shirt and finding it for you somewhere else. I did an interview with a CEO of Zappos.com where he told me that at Zappos, if Zappos doesn't have the shoes you're looking for and you call them up, their customer service people will Google that shoe that you're looking for and tell you where else you can go buy it. They'll help you buy the shoes you're looking for by directing you to a competitor. And it helped Zappos become a billion-dollar company, and now it's helping PleaseDressMe become a bigger and bigger company because they're putting their customers' needs ahead of their own. So there they are, just a handful of notes that I took on the conversation. Download the interview for yourself, and you're going to hear so many more ideas. By the way, if you're starting an internet company or if you're growing one, there's nothing like hearing other people talk about what they're doing to grow theirs to spur ideas. You might get some ideas from AJ that you could use in your business, or maybe his idea will launch a new idea in your head that you'll be able to go out there. And sometimes, frankly, just listening to other entrepreneurs gets you more fired up for your own business. So I've got the interview right here for you to download. My name is Andrew Warner. I'm the founder of Mixergy.com. Keep downloading these interviews. Keep coming back to this site, and I'll see you at a Mixergy event.